And now, as we shift gears, I'm thrilled to introduce our next segment, a most thrilling panel discussion that promises to be nothing short of groundbreaking. We'll be exploring cryptocurrency as the fuel for AI advancement, a topic surely at the forefront of technological innovation. And now, without further ado, let's dive forward with great enthusiasm into this captivating panel discussion. Allow me to introduce our moderator for this session, Mr. Adel B., a CEO and co-founder, a corporate speaker, podcast host, YouTuber, affiliated with Traders Brawl. His work experience in the crypto assets industry was derived from working for the UK regulator, the Financial Conduct Authority. He acted as the crypto aspect policeman. Joined by Mr. Josh Wilson, the CEO of WilsonWorldwide. Mr. Josh is an entrepreneurial veteran with careers spanning TV, journalism, and business development sectors. Along with Mr. Oliver von Wolff, the co-founder and CEO of HelionVentures. Mr. Oliver is a venture capitalist and venture builder with experience in architecture and establishing regulated and unregulated investment products. Coming up with Mr. Jorge Carrasco, the Managing Director, Blockchain and Digital Asset of FTI Consulting. Mr. Jorge is as the Managing Director for FTI Blockchain and Digital Asset Practice in the Middle East. He is a Web3 expert and enthusiast with more than 15 years of experience. Joined by Mr. Ahmed Tarawneh. He is the Senior Strategic Transformation Consultant at the Dubai Police General Headquarters. He deals with digital and business transformation, the metaverse, digital twins, conversational AI, Web3, and emerging technologies using cases with excellence and business expert analysis. He is a business data science professional and a professional business developer, a civil engineer, and a project management practitioner. And last but certainly not least, Mr. Awad Ahmed Ali El-Sidiq, the head of AI and analytics at ADNOC Distribution, UAE. Mr. Awad Ahmed has been the Chief Data Officer of the year 2023. He is the award winner of Best AI Project Implementation for Energy and Utilities Sector 2022 to 2023, and the award winner of the Oracle Worldwide DBA Excellence Award for the EMEA region at the Open World USA in 2013. Everyone, please put your hands together in a very resounding round of applause for this panel of influential experts.
Hello, are we working? Well, good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for being with us till this time at the Crypto Expo Dubai. This panel discussion is going to be on the intersection of AI, artificial intelligence, and blockchain. A subset of that is cryptocurrencies. And we've got a few questions to get to, but we'll first kick off with some introductions. So we're going clockwise. So Josh, over to you.
Sure. So I'm Josh Wilson, the CEO of WilsonWorldwide. I'm also the MD of the GVP Investment Group, based here in Dubai. One of our portfolio companies is Binge, which is predominantly an artificial intelligence company. And so we work in the States with Paramount Plus and Amazon and Disney. And so there is some relevance with us, obviously, in the crypto arena, which is what we're going to kind of hear about today. And I've written for Forbes and Forbes Middle East across crypto, across media, entertainment areas.
Over to you. Thank you very much. Over to you, Oliver.
Yeah, hello. My name is Oliver von Wolff. I'm originally from Germany since '99 in Dubai. I've been seeing how the blockchain and crypto ecosystem has been grown, incubated over 1,200 companies in the DMCC from 2020 to 2021. Since last year, I have a VC company regulated in the DIFC. We're most likely investing in blockchain, crypto, DeFi, all around Web3, I would say. Yeah, and it's a pleasure to be here today. Thank you so much.
Over to you, Jorge.
Yes, thank you. My name is Jorge Carrasco, and I am the Managing Director for Blockchain and Digital Assets at FTI Consulting. I've been 8 years in the region as well, so as Oliver, I have seen all this industry growing from scratch, from nothing. From the company, we support organizations that wants to excel at their use of the digital assets and blockchain, but also we have a long track record as well on cryptocurrency matters, and now with the generative AI and the different AI capabilities that are bringing, we are very much looking at the intersection between blockchain and AI so that the companies can make a good use and an ethical good use as well of the technologies.
Can't top that. Okay, my name is Dr. Ahmed Tarawneh. I'm a senior consultant for Dubai Police. I have responsibilities for transformation in services, projects, initiatives, anything that can bring value to Dubai, so that we can bring value, to the safety of the city and so on. So we search the world over for any people, processes, or technologies, resources, partnerships that can add value to Dubai Police, and we're pretty much focused on the world of blockchain, but it's not alone. It's a bundle of things. It's how you bundle the blockchain with, for example, digital twins and conversational AI and stuff like that, so that we can produce real valuable use cases that can actually add value to you as users of Dubai.
Yes, good afternoon. My name is Awad El-Sidiq, and I'm the head of AI and analytics at Abu Dhabi National Oil Company. I born and grown in UAE, so I witnessed the transformation of this country and GCC, especially in the technology. My focus is to drive my organization to use AI, machine learning, digital twin, blockchain, advanced technology, bringing value back to the business. And I got more than 20 years plus experience in this domain, and happy today to share with you some of these insights. Thank you.
Fantastic. So that's a wonderful, diversified number of participants here in this panel. We're going to speak with Awad first. I'd like to ask you, since you've been in this industry for some time, I know you're based in Abu Dhabi, and you've won some awards, as we just heard. A question on cryptocurrencies. Do you think cryptocurrencies eventually will become the primary way to fund AI research and development? What is your opinion on that?
Yes, since the start of cryptocurrency a few years back, it has been, well received in some countries, but not in everywhere. So my personal belief that this will happen in a long time. It's not a short time. So it may be in the long time, there is a potential of cryptocurrency to be used to fund AI projects. And the reason I'm saying not immediate or in a short term, that there are few associated challenges or risks with cryptocurrency that usually people perceive that the ecosystem is not ready. Just to mention a few of that is, number one, the regulation. Regulation is not set up, and maturity of regulation is not everywhere. It could be in UAE high mature because the leaderships emphasize advanced technology usage, but this is not the case everywhere. Maybe in certain countries in Europe, yes. In East Europe, maybe no, and so on. In Africa, maybe still on the way, and so on. So we cannot depend on that as a source of main funding. Second, the investors who would like to invest on those technologies will also want a security and guarantees. And the third things, the market stability of cryptocurrency. There is a lot of fluctuation. You cannot link that directly to the US dollar impact. So this fluctuation can hinder the ability of funding AI projects. The nature of AI projects are critical as they deliver value, bottom line. Usually it's revenue generation or cost optimization, or maybe enhancing customer experience. So the continuity is important, which means you need a reliable fund that should continue, that has less risk and less, less factor basically and challenging along with other entities. So the answer to this question, cryptocurrency can be a source of fund in a long term, and we will see how governments around the world can really expedite the regulation and compliance around that.
Well said. I think one of the points that really resonated was, with crypto adoption in general, with the volatile nature of crypto being so unstable, people tend to, default by default, run away and escape, and they don't do their own research, and this is what's actually halting mass adoption. But then on top of that, you see hacks happen on main nets. You see crypto scams, you see FTX. And that even makes it exacerbates the situation even more for mass adoption. So really, kudos to you for saying that. A question to Oliver. So you have a VC fund, HelionVentures. So that means you're actively investing in the space. You're actively investing in, as you said, all things Web3. Are you seeing any projects at the moment with a Web3 base that have a pinch of AI related into it? And are you able to share some of the unique features with this that are really trending at the moment from your personal investments?
I can add something to the speaker before. I agree on everything what he said. Principally, he comes from a big corporate. Corporates need regulations to do investments. So from a VC side, we are opportunists. So we're looking for chances and not for risks. That's a huge difference. So beside this, I think Dubai did everything right, coming with a regulation, but also coming late with a regulation. There is still, from a government perspective, the first one who coming with a regulation, what is a bit like a funny story, I think, yeah. So, but principally from our side, we see that more and more, especially in financial services, healthcare, logistics, supply chain, we see more and more technologies coming with AI technology, yeah. Principally, I think in a couple of years, I mean, we all know the stories about internet, you know, end of the 90s, everyone spoke about internet, was happy having internet at the end then, yeah. Now we spoke about crypto, then blockchain, now comes AI. That's just like a kind of headlines. The reality is how much of these technologies I can implement in existing and traditional industries. And this is especially where HelionVentures is looking for how the traditional industries can adopt these technologies, because otherwise all these technologies, they are very nice to watch it and maybe some people investing in it, but at the end of the day, it's not the business model for the future. So, principle, coming back to your questions, we see more and more AI adoption in projects, yeah. The truth is also that it's a kind of fake adoption, because everyone is just running behind the AI meta and thinks, okay, good, now I have AI in, before I had blockchain in, and now I find someone to invest in me. So from an investor perspective, we have to very seriously looking inside of the projects, how much is really AI and what is traditional.
Right, very true, very true. Lots of people, lots of projects are using AI-based. Since this wave has just hit by storm, just adding the label AI is like making everything fancy, and so they're trying to attract investment even more. And I can tell from a VC perspective, the due diligence just has to be done even more now, because just because you add AI doesn't mean that you're doing anything revolutionary.
The question is, does the AI work at the end?
Right, does the AI actually work? No, well said, well said. Thank you for that. A question to Josh now. I think I'd like to ask a question on ethical considerations. Do you see a world in which there are some ethical implications of using cryptocurrencies to fund AI development, in your opinion?
Yeah, I ultimately, I think it depends on the market, and it depends on the, oftentimes it depends on the central banks in those markets and the regulations that are apparent in those markets. You know, for example, in Nigeria recently, the Naira crashed, and so, you know, cryptocurrency is the uptake of that, the usage of it has gone up. I think it's 10% or something on those lines over the past year as a result. So I think it ultimately depends on the regulatory environment of those places. So from a literal standpoint, when we talk about ethical practices, ethics ends up being, you know, almost two-pronged. It ends up being about, you know, what's right from a popular standpoint, what's right for people, and are people protected? But also, obviously, a lot of that is dictated by our governments. And, you know, we're very lucky to live in a country where that's not an issue. But, you know, in a lot of places, there is certainly a robust defiance to the usage of crypto in any regard, because of the potential impact it can have, and potentially, oftentimes, how much it can change people's lives, but how much that impacts the incumbent, you know, as it pertains to kind of fiat currencies and this, that, and the third. So I think the ethical kind of element of it it's reflective of the legislative environment of whatever jurisdiction that may be. And I think that will ultimately continue. So you want to be in a jurisdiction where you can make as big and as solid an impact as possible.
Right, well said. I think building on that, some of the ethical implications as well that pertain to this matter is people often say, and this may be true, using cryptocurrencies as a form of money laundering. And they're saying, oh, we're funding AI, we're using crypto to fund AI stuff. But really, on the surface, it looks like that, but really in the deep, it's just money laundering. Same with some exchanges. They pump up the volume, looking like they have great volume. It's just from their own pockets. It's not like it's actual people trading on it. The ethical considerations around that is that once you pump it up with your own money, and then you have other users putting in their money, the money is now mixed between your money and the money of the other users. And that mixes and launders up the money itself. And that no one's really talking about this, but this is actually happening in some exchanges.
Very shortly here, I mean, the headline for this is augmentation, yeah, how they name it when they're sending the applications now. But I think we can break this down, how much I can include AI in smart contracts. And with this, I can easily implement ethics, skills, and standards and all kind of blockchain.
Right. Did you want to add something?
Yeah, no, agreed. I mean, I think money laundering it's been a problem for a long time. I think ultimately this is an avenue that people can utilize that for a long time is completely unregulated, and people were just utilizing it in that way for sure. I think money launderers have always found some way or some methodology to transfer funds and to wash money. And I think ultimately, in some respect, and I'm not this massive crypto adopter, but I think crypto has kind of been painted in a bad light because I do think it has a lot of very positive applications. But there are nefarious people that will obviously utilize it for their own gains.
Right. Go ahead.
Yeah, if I can add on that, because precisely in this field, we have a risk unit. We support regulators and companies with these anti-money laundering practices. And crypto exchanges so far has not been under very hard scrutiny because they have been licensed in regulations where there were no strict rules about that. Now, the new regulators and the regulators that are coming up now are much more worried about that precisely after the events that happened last year. And concretely, Dubai, Abu Dhabi, Hong Kong, etc., are implementing very strict rules in terms of anti-money laundering policies. So not only you need to provide to the regulator all the time where the money is coming from, what is traded, where is it going to what is called the travel rule from the FATF, but also all those procedures need to be battle tested, back tested, checked, and reported on a monthly basis. So that has happened a lot, what you were describing. My belief is that as companies get more regulated and operated in more regulated environments, that will not be possible anymore because then the enforcement departments and etc. will come to shut those shops down.
Yes, well said. And I think building on that, when there's in countries, in certain countries where crypto is not very prominent, the taking advantage of users' lack of knowledge of cryptocurrencies is another ethical consideration to use. Trying to say that they are the solution to taxes, and they may be a tax evasion way of transacting. This is another ethical consideration to take into account because it's taking advantage of people's lack of knowledge of the space. Because crypto, as it stands, there's still lots of unregulation happening here. The more there's regulation, the more there can be guidelines that will enforce the law to the highest degree. Yeah, so well said on that. Do you want to add to that?
Well, what is money laundering? First of all, if you have money in your pocket, that's the original idea of all fiat currencies, is your money. You are the owner of it. I think we have to see this from a different point of view. I observed this in Europe, and it's got completely ridiculous in Europe, yeah? Because money laundering can be anything meanwhile, yeah? If I have a son, I transfer every month 50 euro to him as his money pocket, yeah? And now the grandmother puts 100 euros on it as a Christmas present. It's already money laundering because it's over the average what he normally gets on his bank account. So I think maybe AI can help here to give people more rights back, doing with the money what they're supposed to do, because being independent, being free, doing with the money, investing with the money, and trying to do whatever they want to do with their money. That's the original idea of fiat. That's the original idea of cash, of all these kinds of things. And what I see here is that, let's say, all these regulations about the money laundering is not about the regulations about how to prevent criminal things, yeah, or terrorist organizations, is more or less taking rights from people doing with the money what they want. And I think here AI technology in a smart contract implemented in financial services can be a real solution on it.
Well said. This builds on to my next question to Ahmed about how right off the back of what you just said, Oliver, how can we ensure now that cryptocurrencies are used to fund AI research and development and the benefits of humanity and not just a select few? How can we ensure that the funding is directly beneficial to humanity? What are your thoughts on that?
Excellent question. Actually, if you look at the size of cryptocurrency, size of market, adoption rates, you look at responses from the government, from regulations, you'll see a big question mark of inequality everywhere. So it's, to us as cryptocurrency users, it's one thing. To government, it's another thing. The government adoption of rules and regulations to regulate and police has been lacking. So this is all hurting the cryptocurrency market and of course, by shadowing the blockchain market as well. So if you look at all these things, actually, when we look at them, in terms of policing, it's a concept that needs to be looked at, drilled down in, and looking at, what are the uses that are happening in actual world. So you'll see a lot of economic inequalities happening already in terms of the market structure of cryptocurrency. When you come to the blockchain and couple that with cryptocurrency, then you get a certain amount of use cases and smart contracts and things of that sort. And so you run into a lot of problems with all of these situations. That has created already like a volatile environment that makes us as users sometimes not willing to take advantage of some things that already exist. And it's creating on the other side an amount of risks to governments, an amount of risks to users, to companies, to investors, to actually dive deeper into the world of crypto. So, but there's a lot of use cases that have been talked about. For example, token-based financing, for example. Now, if you talk about using the cryptos and the tokens for financing, for actually paying for projects, for milestones, things of that sort, then that becomes another world. So to make a long story short, it's a volatile world. It's already creating a lot of levels of inequalities. You'll have the big investors coming in and sort of like the big fish in the market. They're taking all the limelight. Small users are there, but they're not able to actually compete within this environment. So the whole world has not agreed yet on a definition or a use or a regulation that can actually regulate. If you go to the European Union, you'll have regulations. Here you have regulations. US have regulations. And the biggest enemy to me, I think, of crypto has been government. They have just not supported it yet, regulated it, policed it enough to actually give it the structure that it needs so that it could actually take off and grow.
Well, really resonated with what you said about the inequality, which you really mentioned. And that is true. There is an inequality of knowledge, power, and control. So those who control it, the central authority, tends to have all the control and the power and the connections. Those who are not, do not. So the next question I'd like to ask Josh is decentralization the solution? Firstly, does decentralization even work? Is decentralization the solution to this, these ethical considerations, with the fact that no central authority owns the crypto project, no central authority owns the AI? So is decentralization the solution?
That's me. I certainly think it will help in certain respects. Anytime you can decentralize, mass technology that is causing a massive amount of disruption in the marketplace. I think that's always a positive, but at the same time, the regulation of these areas is extremely important for everyone. So yes, you do want massive, you want decentralization, you want everyone to have a chance to either profit or utilize this for the betterment of their life, business, etc. But at the same time, it's so important that there is a regulatory body, over all of these different elements, because these are, we started off an element of the conversation talking about nefarious means of things that can be utilized, money laundering, and this, that, and the third, and people eloquently put forth their cases towards that. So yes, as it pertains to being a user, absolutely you want decentralization. I think that is a massive bonus in a lot of ways, but at the same token, there needs to be some regulation that everyone abides by. Now that doesn't necessarily have to be a centralized force, but you certainly need a centralized force to make sure that is enforced. So I think it's a bit of both, but I certainly think it will solve some problems for sure.
Right, and here's where it's challenging for me, at least to understand, because to be decentralized means that no one actually owns the servers. It's dispersed. So there's no CEO, there's no founder. So taking Bitcoin as an example, we don't know who Satoshi Nakamoto is, but Ethereum, on the other hand, which is quite centralized, we do know Vitalik Buterin and the team. He himself can single-handedly, or the management can single-handedly change the Ethereum blockchain, adapt it, modify it to their own benefit, to their own, without the users knowing. Could they do that? Would they do that? That's another, a separate discussion. But they can. So, does decentralization even work? Is it decentralized, or is it actually centralized? Go ahead.
Yeah. This is basically the heart part of the heart of the problem. Okay? Yeah. Is cryptocurrency is in some ways decentralized, in some ways centralized, yes. Right? A lot of people tell you it's a decentralized this and blockchain is decentralized and stuff like that. But there are actually regulations, like in the US right now, and the IRS is coming in and trying to regulate and so on. But because of the fact that we still haven't agreed on a single world body to create some kind of regulations, norm, bring the situation to a norm, that creates the volatility that you see today and the number or the amount or the size of fraud and scams. And that is not good for cryptocurrency. The more that you hear about fraud and scams and volatilities, it's scaring off the common man away from crypto. So it's not giving actually crypto part of the fuel that exists within the 8 billion people that exist around the world. So that is a core problem that needs to be treated. And I believe that the only way that could be that it could take some kind of solution forward is for the whole world to start a body on crypto or something like that will regulate, whether it's within the UN, whether it's within like centralized governments, coming together. They need to agree on top what they want to do so that it could actually dive down to us.
Yeah, that's why most of the regulators are not regulating yet things like DAOs or DeFi, because there are no common standards if that particular ecosystem is working on different places. But having said that, I think it's going to be very difficult to find another example like Bitcoin. I mean, everything comes from an idea, generally comes from an idea that somebody is pushing forward and an organization is created out of that. You can create a DAO, but I think you also need that sense of accountability. If something goes wrong, who is responsible behind all of that, right? So decentralization is good, but I would say that also knowing who is behind stuff is also good.
Yep.
Well, I would like to add here something. I think the main problem is the trust of the people in their governments. And that's the reason why decentralized, this topic came up at all. And of course, all the governments, they try to keep it down now because they see they lost the control over the, I don't want to say the financial markets, but they lost the control about the trend. Mm-hmm. So I would like to add here that the most of, and this I think is obviously what we see in all of the world, yeah, that people lose the trust in their governments because maybe the money laundering should start on the top and not on the down, yeah, and I think, yeah, it's funny, yeah, but I know, but But this is exactly the point. So that's the reason why people have been created decentralized exchanges and currencies, because they don't want that other people telling them what to do and how to do these things. I would say that most of the people in the world, at least where I'm traveling, there are some ethics standards about how doing business, how to treat people, all those kinds of things. It's just a minority who might be trying to fraud. And here also, like maybe a bit an ironic comment on this one. If all the investors would use AI for their investments, might be there would be less fraud. Yeah, because a lot of investors, they see the numbers. And also here, why a lot of fraud happens? Because a friend of a friend is investing something and someone is investing too because he have no idea and just see the numbers and is running behind it. Yeah, so I mean, basic is trust. Trust in currencies, trust in governments. And I think Dubai is here a very good example for this. People trusting in the government doing right decisions. So if I live in, for example, in Nigeria, yeah, and most of the people we have to pay in Nigeria who work for us in cryptocurrencies. Why? Because if they get $500 per month and the bank takes like $150 or $100, I mean, 20% of the income is just going for transaction fee. So the other question is about all this. Did we not create on a high level an economic system in the world and excluded too many people of the economy chain? That's the main reason why we have a lot of poor countries, not because they are not smart, not because they cannot develop their own products and solutions. No, we just excluded them. So blockchain, cryptocurrencies, all this kind of Web3 technologies gives the people back the power. I can be somewhere in the Sahara, let's say. If I have internet, then I can sell sand or whatever, yeah? But I'm not excluded from the economy. So, and that's the main part, is trust, is fairness, and the other one is being inside of an ecosystem to be able to act as an entrepreneur.
And also, just very briefly on a regulation standpoint, I mean, I'm sure everyone saw how off-putting, the questions from the Senate committee was in the United States when they were questioning the purpose behind crypto, and then just some of it was absolutely absurd. But on the same token, there's a massive conflict of interest if you get the CEO of Coinbase and the CEO of Binance and these types of people writing regulations. So you need people that are experts in it that aren't connected to the private sector on the same hand, right? So you need that kind of conjunctive effect in regards to regulation in order to make it work and make it make sense. Because currently you have people making decisions that have no clue sometimes what they're talking about, and then you have people that are obviously very intelligent, but you're trusting to not effectively give something to be worthwhile for themselves and adapt it for their own profit. So you need to find a gentle balance there, regulation-wise as well.
Brilliant. This has been a fantastic panel. I know if I ask one more question, it's just going to lead to another 10 more minutes. So I think we'll leave it there. We're just right on time. I want to thank all of you for your contributions on this still developing and emerging topic. We don't have solutions yet, but this is where we're at right now. AI is here. Cryptocurrencies are here. There's going to be merge and intersections of the two. So we need to continue navigating and being vigilant about regulation and how we can work with regulators, not against them, and then building on trust, trustless, but still building on trust and having that hybrid centralized versus decentralized, because nothing is truly 100% decentralized.
Can I just bring three areas where we could actually pragmatically do some change? It's public voting on the projects related to cryptocurrency, transparency protocols, and ethical guidelines. Those are three areas that are being researched by a lot of people and powerhouses, and they haven't seen the light yet. So we can support these three things. We could probably make some changes happen.
Brilliant. Thank you so much. Thank you.